Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to all the students, our faculty and our esteemed guests which are here with us today. I, 𝗦𝗂𝗥𝗧𝗖 Research Associate Sustainable Development Research and Training Center, welcome you all to this dialogue session with the high-profile delegation of Third World March for Peace and Non-Violence 2024. This session is organized by Sustainable Development Research and Training Center in collaboration with Pakistan Hindu Mandir Management Committee, Government of Pakistan. The World March for Peace and Non-Violence is a historic event that began its journey from Auckland, New Zealand in 2009. This is the third edition of March, which commenced in Costa Rica on October 2nd, 2024, and will culminate in Costa Rica in January 2025. The mission of the World March is to promote active nonviolence in all aspects of life, especially in education, where it can serve as a true transformative force. The March calls for the incorporation of the Earth Charter into the international agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. For this purpose, the four-member-based team from Spain, England, Italy, Australia, and Nepal is here with us today. The delegation is headed by 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗧𝗖 He is a member of the Academic Council of the Permanent Secretariat of the Nobel Peace Summit. He is a member of the humanist movement, within which he is founder of the association World Without Wars and Without Violence, recognized by Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. He is the author and co-author of 15 books. He has also written numerous articles in magazines and press. Next up, we have with us Mr. 𝗦𝗀𝗥𝗧𝗖 He is currently associated with the international news agency Presenza, the Third World March for Peace and Nonviolence, and regional forums of Universalist Humanism in the regions of Asia and Africa. And finally, the Permanent World Forum of Universalist Humanism. He is based in UK. Next up, we have with us is Mr. 𝗦𝗂𝗥𝗧𝗖 He has been associated with World March for Peace and Non-Violence since its beginning in 2009. He is based in Australia. The last up we have with us is Ms. 𝗛𝗪𝗓 Maya. She's a treasurer, program director in Research and Development Institute, and has been chief administrative in Kapan Jordhara Khanepani Samraksha Sanstha. She is based in Nepal. Now, to begin the session formally, I would request Mr. 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗧𝗖 to please give his remarks.
Bueno, hola. Muy buenas tardes. Sorry, I don't speak English.
I apologize, I don't speak English.
I speak Spanish.
Only Spanish.
French, Italian.
French, Italian.
Russian.
Russian.
No?
Yes.
Esperanto.
Esperanto.
No. Estoy muy contento de estar aquí en la Facultad de Comunicación, ¿no?
Communications
y de Informática.
And Information Technology.
Es la única vez que saqué, yo no era buen estudiante, la única vez que saqué primero de la clase fue en la Escuela de Informática. Cuando inauguraron la Escuela de Informática en Madrid.
When the School of Information Technology was inaugurated in Madrid.
Así que tiene mucha carga para mí.
So for me, something very close to this activity of information technology, very close to my heart.
Estamos con la marcha mundial.
We are working with the World March.
Yo ya he participado más de 50 años en
I have been involved about 50 years in the cause of nonviolence.
Y un día tengan cuidado con lo que piensan, porque algunas veces lo que uno piensa se realiza.
And one day, beware what you think, because the things that you think become reality.
Entonces, alguna vez pensé que era posible hacer una marcha
Once
mundial.
upon a time, I thought that it was possible to organize a world march.
Por supuesto, hacerla con sponsor, con gente que tiene dinero, con patrocinadores,
Of course, to do it
es complicado, pero es relativamente
with
fácil.
supporters, with people who contribute money, etc. It's always complicated, but it's more viable than without any resources.
Pero hacerla sin ningún recurso es prácticamente imposible.
To do it without any resources is practically impossible.
Nosotros nos empeñamos en hacer una marcha en la cual transmitíamos que cada uno iba a aportar lo que podía.
But we insisted in performing a world march where each one would contribute whatever they could.
Entonces nos dijeron que los expertos
Then the experts told us
nos dijeron que eso era imposible.
that was impossible.
Y bueno, aquí estamos haciendo ya la tercera marcha
And
mundial.
here we are in the third edition of the World March.
Y hemos dado 2 vueltas al planeta.
And we
y
have been
estamos
twice around the world, and
por
now we're
hacer la tercera.
in the way to the third one.
¿Qué mensaje es el que estamos traduciendo? Venimos de la Facultad de Derecho.
What message are we conveying? We are coming from the law faculty,
Que hay que hacer algo.
and the message is that we have to do something.
Dada la situación
Given the situation in the world,
en la que los mensajes que se envían son que cada vez hay más conflicto, cada vez hay más tensión, cada vez hay más polarización.
where the predominant messages is that every time there is more conflict, that there is more tension and more polarization.
Pero van totalmente en contra de lo que dicen los científicos que ocurre realmente, que es que cada vez hay menos hambre en el mundo. Lamentablemente hay hambre, pero cada vez hay
It's
menos.
totally opposed to what the evidence shows, that every time there is less hunger in the world. There is hunger, but less.
Cada vez hay menos mujeres. Veo muchas mujeres por aquí. Es muy
Every
interesante.
time less. I see lots of women here, but every time women, what?
Yo daría un aplauso a las mujeres.
I would give an applause to women.
Entonces, la escolarización, las muertes por infección, todo eso va bajando.
More children go to school. On the other hand, there is less death for diseases and other external reasons.
Pero sin embargo, tú le preguntas a cualquiera qué tal el futuro y bueno, el futuro está un poco complicado.
But if you ask anybody, what do you think about the future, people are not optimistic. They see problems.
Hemos resuelto mal las cosas, creo, los que tenemos alguna edad.
Those who are getting a bit older, we have done badly.
Porque en general yo viví mejor que mi abuelo y que mi bisabuelo.
Because I lived better than my father or my grandfather.
Pero mi hija y mis nietos ya dudo que vayan a vivir mejor.
But my children and my grandchildren, I have my doubts if they are going to have a better life.
Entonces, si bien el mundo va mejor, ¿cómo es que algunos piensan que va peor?
Although the world is doing better, why a few thinks that is doing worse?
Bueno, hay una propaganda generalizada de que todo va fatal y que todo va extremándose las posiciones.
There is lots of propaganda in the world that indicates that things are not going well and that positions are more extreme.
Entonces, lo que queremos es transmitir esa idea de que, por supuesto, que vamos a mejor.
What we want to convey is the idea that, of course, we are improving, we are evolving.
Pero que además tenemos que hacer algo.
But also we need to do something actively.
Y lo que proponemos es hacer algo que cada uno dé vueltas, que es lo que cree que tiene que hacer.
And regarding the action, we think that each one we should do whatever they feel that they can do.
Pero que haga algo.
But they should do something.
O sea, las cosas no, la humanidad Si bien se habla del Homo sapiens,
Humanity, although we talk about Homo sapiens,
sapiens, como que
Sapiens.
sabe,
that means that he's knowledgeable and that he can gather experience.
pero es la única especie que produce genocidios sobre su propia especie.
But he's
O
the
sea,
only
que no
species
será-
that creates genocide over their own equals.
no será tan sapiens.
Probably that is not an expression of wisdom.
Y en un centro universitario yo dejo una pregunta que no voy a responderla,
And
pero
in universities, I leave a question that I am not going to answer myself,
aprovechando que veo muchas mujeres.
taking advantage that there are lots of females.
En todo el recorrido que hemos hecho por el planeta, en todos los casos, hablan de que la mujer es el sexo débil.
In all our traveling, the people normally acknowledge that females are the weak sex, gender.
Yo no lo creo.
I don't believe that.
Yo creo que hay una deformación,
I think there's a deformation.
porque en todas las culturas la mujer vive como mínimo 4 años más, en algunos casos 15 años más, la esperanza de vida por país que el hombre.
Because in all the cultures, I have seen that females live between 5 to 15 years more than the males.
Así dejo una hipótesis.
So I leave a hypothesis there.
¿Cómo es que si es el sexo débil, cómo es que vive más que el hombre?
Why is it that being a weaker gender, they live more than the males?
En algunos casos hasta 14, 15 años.
In some cases, 14 or 15 years more.
Estamos en una escuela de informática.
We are here in an information technology college.
Estamos en un nuevo mundo.
We are living in a new world.
Con la tecnología nos podemos comunicar a nivel planetario y tener toda la información instantáneamente.
With
casi.
technology, we can communicate whatever the space all over the world and have information in real time.
Eso no había ocurrido nunca en la historia.
That had never happened before in human history.
Entonces, todavía no sabemos bien cómo utilizar esos mecanismos.
Still, we don't know well how to use all these new technologies.
Pero sí es importantísimo tener claro las prioridades.
But it is very important to have clear priorities.
Y las prioridades son, se supone que todos queremos la competencia, que esto es una fauna, una jungla, y que tenemos que competir unos con otros.
We assume that we all have to compete against each other, that we live in a jungle.
Ese es un discurso.
That is one sort of narrative.
Ninguna especie ha sobrevivido a una competencia entre los miembros de su propia especie.
No species have survived a competition amongst members of the same species.
A producir genocidios dentro de su propia especie.
No other species produce genocides within its own species.
Las especies han sobrevivido cuando han colaborado entre ellas.
Species have survived when they have adapted and they have collaborated within themselves.
Nosotros pensamos además que si seguimos en la competición a nivel de países, con el desarrollo y la capacidad de destrucción que ha creado el ser humano,
We believe too that if we keep competing amongst nations with the capacity for self-destruction that we have,
nos autodestruimos.
we'll self-destroy ourselves.
Vamos a hacer buena la predicción que hizo Einstein.
We'll make reality the prediction that Einstein made.
Él dijo, no sé cómo será la Tercera Guerra Mundial,
He said, I don't know how the third world is going to be,
pero la cuarta será con palos y con piedras, es decir, la civilización desaparecerá.
but the fourth world war is going to be fought with sticks and stones.
O aprendemos a resolver los conflictos de otra manera,
Either we learn to resolve conflicts in a different manner,
diferente a querer eliminar al otro, o nos destruimos.
different from trying to eliminate anyone that opposes us or next to us, or we are going to self-destroy.
Así que creo que el mundo al que vamos es un mundo que ustedes van a tener la oportunidad de irlo creando y descubriendo.
I think the world we are moving towards is a world that you will have the opportunity to create and live in.
Y que ese mundo está por construir, pero va a ser colaborando más que compitiendo.
And that world is under construction, but that will happen through collaboration, not competition.
Dejo espacio para preguntas porque nos han dicho que tenemos tiempo limitado y muy contento de poder estar aquí con ustedes.
I leave room for questions and because we have limited time, and I'm very happy to be with you all today. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Raphael, for sharing your thoughts with us. Now, I would request Mr. 𝗦𝗂𝗥𝗧𝗖 to please come here and share his views with us.
If I may just speak from there rather than from that thing, do you mind? It's an important thing for me to talk about my view on the World March. You hear many times, many people that says peace, non-violence, and non-discrimination, and this, and they have a finger and they point it at you or somebody else who's violent. Well, when they go home, so they bash the wife or they kick the children, and so that's incoherent to me, right? Incoherent. So the World March has for me a very special meaning, which is to understand a couple of questions. Am I contributing to the violence in the world as an individual? Am I exercising discrimination against my fellow classmates? Am I sexualizing my companion? Am I doing psychological violence against my children? So these questions revert all this explanation to me, right? So my take on the World March is a personal one. I start by me, right? I have some tools, I have some forms of meditations which allowed me to comprehend if I am exercising violence against other people, right? So that's an important thing for me. There's two aspects of violence. The external violence outside in the social environment, wars and all that kind of things, oppressions, etc. But also there is a violence that is quiet and it happens at home, in the classrooms, on the streets. And so that type of violence begins from individuals. So for me, it's an important part of this World March to renew my commitment, my personal commitment to understand myself and to understand whether I am or I am not, and if I am, to what level, and how I can eliminate violence from me and become a truly non-violent person, which is my aim, The second thing is, when violence is exercised against me, the question is, how do I respond to it? No? If somebody says something, a bully, for example, there are many people that are bullies. They bully you, they say this, they say that. And so how do I react to that? It's an important part of me learning to be non-violent. I want to reject all that bully, and it washes through me like water or gas or air, and I don't want to take it in. So these dimensions are very important for me, the personal dimension. And I just wanted to talk to you about that, which is kind of a testimony. It's my view. Nobody else may have this view, but that is my point of view, and that's why I am with the World March. Not only for the external, but also not only words that disappear somewhere, but from my heart, from myself. When I said non-violence, then it has meaning inside. That's what I wanted to tell you. I thank you for listening to me, and I'm sorry I'm a bit rude. Okay? The last thing I will leave you with is this salutation that we have, no? Which we always say, we wish other people peace, to you, force, as in strength, and joy to you. So we use 3 fingers in this manner. 3 fingers in this manner. So we say peace, force, and joy. So let me hear this, okay? Peace, force, and joy. I wish you peace, force, and joy.
For you too, peace, force, and joy.
Thank you very much. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hegg. Now I would request Ms. Tulsi Maya to please come and share her views with us.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm trying to learn Urdu. Is that correct? Assalamu alaikum from Nepal. Namaste everybody and dear respected Dean sir. मैं नेपाल से हूँ, थोड़ा सा उर्दू आती है, so I would like to connect to you with this language. What do you think? Is it okay with you? If I speak wrong, correct me please. Humanism is to organize, to humanize the earth. मतलब हम जो कहाँ से आए हैं, किस कंट्री से यहाँ से जो डिस्क्राइब कर रहे थे, उससे पहले हम एक फैमिली को इकट्ठा करने की कोशिश में थे। विगत 15 सालों से ये एक्टिविटी चली जा रही है। हिंसा रोको, ह्यूमनाइज करो। कैसे? हम आपसे जैसे डेक्लेयर ने अभी कोशिश क्यों किया कि आप उनको अब याद करेंगे, कुछ दिन बाद, कुछ साल बाद अगर कोई उनका नाम लेगा तो आपको एकदम से याद आ जाएगा। जो स्टेज में हम बोलते हैं ना, काइंड ऑफ बोरिंग फील होती है, क्योंकि हम एक लेक्चर सुनने की आदत हो गई है, क्योंकि हमको सुनने के लिए बुलाया गया है, हम सुन रहे हैं। नो, दैट इज़ नॉट ह्यूमनिज्म। ह्यूमनिज्म इज़ दैट मैं आपकी आंखों से आंखें मिलाना चाहती हूँ, आंखों के थ्रू मैं दिल तक जाना चाहती हूँ। दैट इज़ व्हाट ह्यूमनिज्म। देखो, आप लोगों को कोई बोलता होगा कि नेपाल जा रही हूँ, जा रहा हूँ, तो बेटियाँ को बोलते होंगे कि तू अकेली कैसे जाएगी। ये सारी चीज़ें जो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन थ्रू जाती है, बेटा हो या बेटे को थोड़ा डिफरेंट वैसे फ्रीडम है तो हम लड़कियों को कम है, तो इन सब चीज़ों के ऊपर हम बहुत लो लेवल से काम करते हैं। जैसे मैं यहाँ आई हूँ ना, मैं कहीं कोई किसी की मतलब होती है ना बड़ी पावरफुल वजह से नहीं आई हूँ, मैं ट्राई कर रही हूँ कैसे पाकिस्तान तक आ जाऊँ। ये बहुत बड़ी मुश्किल जर्नी थी। मैं अगर यहाँ आई गई तो आते आते मेरे मन में थोड़ा सा ये था कि एटलीस्ट 5 लोगों को तो मैं अपनी वहाँ पे इनवाइट करूँ कि ताकि हम कंटिन्यूसली रिलेशन बिल्डअप करें। But what the result was, more than 50 people already request me to join us in Nepal. That is what we are doing through this march, you know. March is for peace and non-violence, and I'm talking here about relationship. This is how we connect and humanize. That's it for now. Here is huge things to discuss. So, but for this time, that's it कि हम अपने relationship को continue करना चाहते हैं आज से. That is how we begin the process to humanize the earth. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tulsi. Now the floor is open for questions. Any student who would like to ask question, please raise your hand.
South Asia is one of the most dangerous regions, we all know, and because of this Pakistan-India hostile activities, the things are not going to be normalized. So what your actions are for ultimate restoration of peace in South Asia, and especially to bring these two countries to the negotiations?
Shall I reply you in short? हम देखिए, सुन रहे हैं ना? चलो, हम ये सब क्यों कर रहे हैं कि we are not here to take action against them. We are here to teach you about the future. आज ये सब जो हो रहा है ना, आज से 20 साल पहले हमने सोच लिया होता तो शायद सिचुएशन ये नहीं होता. Let's think about it now. अब के 20 साल बाद क्या होगा? देखिए, एक्शन लेने के लिए हमने वर्ल्ड मार्च वाला एक्शन ले लिया. दैट्स वाई वी आर हियर इन पाकिस्तान. पाकिस्तान पे आते आते जो वाइट स्किन है उनके लिए क्या क्या बोला जाता है आपको नॉलेज है, ये सब बारे में हम नहीं जाना चाहते. हम यहाँ पर आ गए, हमने पार्टनरशिप बना लिया है. अब इन सब की म्यूचुअल एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनने जा रही है फॉर द फ्यूचर. हम पीपल जो ये थर्ड वर्ल्ड मार्च फॉर पीस एंड नॉन वायलेंस is not to take an action against them. We are here to build the future thinking about that. हम उन चीज़ों तक ना पहुँचे. ये सारे स्टूडेंट हमारे लिए क्यों ज़रूरी है? यही तो है जो सब कुछ करने वाले हैं इस दुनिया में अब जाके. So we are here to give them message. 20 साल बाद क्या होने वाला है सोचो. That is what we are going to give a message.
Anything else? If you want to add.
Yeah, please add yourself.
We have an approach in this matter that indicates that we human beings, we individuals in society, also have a responsibility for the existence of peace and non-violence. Because society, what is a conglomerate integrated by lots of individuals, and our individual violence projects on our immediate society, contaminating it. So we have, in order to modify the situation, to make that very clear and invite people to recognize in which way they contribute to the existence of social violence against and around themselves. On the other hand, it's important to understand that the planet, civilization, especially at this historical stage, with a technology that connects everyone and everything instantly, as it was explained by Rafael, things are not working independent of ourselves. There is a structure that is a planetary structure. There are powers that are the most influential, that have accumulated the greater amount of capital, that seems to be the social energy that moves societies around, and that they have a disproportionate power that they exercise in an arbitrary manner. We have an organization of states, that is United Nations, that was created after the most cruel war that humanity had faced, and in order to be a regulator of international relations, and United Nations have been made neutered, useless, because of the manipulation on internal control. And there is a Security Council where the atomic powers, they have a veto faculty that allows them to nullify any resolution that the Security Council may achieve. And in that way, you find that there's an appearance of intent to live in a better society, but it is not true. Exists a globalized imperialism by powers that have a disproportionate force, and that affects everywhere and everyone in society. We have to be aware of that, and we have in our possibilities to denounce that type of factors. And we have to, in our own societies, get organized with people that think in a similar manner. And that is a bit the message that we are transmitting with World March. And so you have, instead of we having a solution that we will be able to apply everywhere, you have to reflect over those topics and probably support the most progressive movement and actions around yourselves. Thank you.
Sorry for my voice. Given the violence in the world, how do you expect, what advice would you give to the younger generation to stay optimistic for the future?
I don't think that you have any reason to, based on the information that you receive from the official entities, that provide information to societies, that you have too many reasons to feel optimistic, because there is an intention of creating a situation of fear, of negativity, of a sensation of incapacity to change the situation, of inevitability. All these type of things are the narratives that the big conglomerates of media that are owned, the big ones by the smaller ones and the smaller ones, but in the end they are quite consolidated in a few ideologies that in our view are false ideologies, because it presents an alternative to the population that is not a true alternative. We want peace, we want good relations amongst people, we want, if possible, as is going to happen in my view in the future, to eliminate borders around the world, because if the population is increasing at the present speed, very soon we are going to be, instead of 8 billion, we are going to be 20 billion towards the end of this century. And all the races will combine, not because we have to regulate it, it's because so many people will be living in the same spaces that really they will interact, and then even our races will be different. Our systems of beliefs will be much more global and synthetical. We'll be exposed to all the traditions, cultural traditions, religious traditions, etc. Our children will be all married among themselves. So its humanity will be very similar in itself. You cannot destroy it, because you will not find an enemy to destroy it. There is no one different from you anymore. And we are always looking for the differences to create conflict. So it's a mentality, a mentality that needs to change, because the circumstance of evolution, of transformation of a civilization, will not make possible war and conflict and destruction of each other. So that is the optimistic part that I see. But then we'll have to learn to think by ourselves. We cannot trust the notes of very talented people or people who are the formers of opinion. Have you noticed that with the social media that now have appeared the concept of formers of opinion? Who asked them to form opinions in you and anyone else around? It's again a mechanism of self-promotion and a mechanism of invention and a mechanism of financial, artificial factors that really create more disorder instead of helping people to think. So if we could form clubs of clear thinking, that would be a great thing. We are promoting an initiative that is starting a humanist forum all over the world, where people precisely can sit together in the grassroots, together with academics that are the people that have had the possibility of go deeper into the comprehension of important subjects, and exchange and gain experience and listen to one another. And that will create a different body of knowledge that will really be useful for the progress of humanity. That is an idea, something that we are trying to implement together with the World March. Thank you.
Now I would request Ms. Naheed Milbari to please come and give vote of thanks to our esteemed guest.
Thank you so much for joining us today and bringing forward a new idea and a new concept. We are living in a very different world right now, with technology advancing at a breakneck speed, and with students being bombarded with umpteen ideas, with umpteen different realities which may not exist. So, so this forum that you all have started and this march that you all have started is very enlightening, because it tells students that what you read, what you hear, and sometimes what you see may be fake, very often is fake, and you need to have a critical thinking, a critical understanding, and sift through the layers of knowledge and reach the truth in a way that is both to reach the truth in a way that is both important for our future generations, for them, for their children, for their grandchildren, and not to be bombarded by the kind of knowledge that allows humanity to continue being in conflict with one another. And such a march is extremely important for the future, for ourselves, and for the next generations to come, because we are at the crossroads of civilization. Anything can happen anytime. If today we have a nuclear explosion, more nuclear explosions, and humanity would die out. So we need to readdress, we need to rethink and re-see all these parameters that are there, and to focus on what is necessary for our very survival. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to all of you. Now I would request Dr. Riaz Sheikh to please come and present souvenirs and shield to our guest. Mr. Raphael, please come. Sir, wo si. Sir, आगे. Mr. Antonio Carvalho. Mr. Declan Hag.
Declan is a retired professor of IT from Sydney University.
Miss Tulsi Maya.
अब ऑफिशियल तो फिर जाएंगे क्योंकि टीचर नहीं बुला रहे हैं ना थैंक यू सर
Mr. Krishan Sharma.
Krishan Sharma is from Mithi Tharparkar. Have you heard about Mithi Tharparkar? To go and see his village. You will find
Most welcome to anyone.
diversity there.
And everybody.
People from other regions.
Now I would request our guests please come forward for a group photo.
With a